Welcome to the 2020 WhistleStop Winter Haven Virtual Hobnob. Welcome. My name is Katie Worthington Decker, and I am the President and CEO of the Greater Winter Haven Chamber of Commerce, and it is my privilege to be your MC for this video series. WhistleStop Winter Haven is traditionally an in-person event where members of the public can come together to shake hands and get to know the candidates that are on the ballot through one-on-one conversations. But as we all know, 2020 is a year to adapt, so we have pivoted this event to an online series of Zoom interviews. We certainly hope you take the time to listen to each of the candidates and learn a little bit more about them and what they stand for and while they're running. We have invited every candidate on the ballot in Polk County to participate, and we want to thank those candidates who did decide to do it. Full disclosure, the Winter Haven Chamber does not endorse any individual candidates, but we do believe in an informed electorate. So we hope that you find these videos useful as you are getting ready to fill out your ballot. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for this video series. Our presenting sponsor is Citizens Bank and Trust. Our Meet the Candidates sponsor is Spectrum. Our additional sponsors include Citrus Connection, the Hemingway Group Realtors with Crosby & Associates, John Wood Realty, and the campaign of Sam Killebrew, District 41. As I mentioned, there are two important dates for you to remember coming up in this election. On August 18th is the primary. And while there are the traditional Democrat and Republican primary races, there are also some very important local races that will be decided during that election. These include school board, county commission, supervisor of election, and the Lake Region Lakes Management District. And of course, the second date to remember is the general election that will be held nationally on November 3rd. We hope that you will find this video series useful, and please encourage your family and friends that are eligible to vote to do so. It is our greatest right as American citizens. Enjoy. Well, Fred, thank you so much for joining us for this WhistleStop Winter Haven interview. And by you participating in this program, you're giving the Winter Haven Chamber an opportunity to inform the public about the candidates and issues on the ballot on November 3rd. And since you have purchased this booth, the Florida Division of Elections does require you to make the following statement.
Yes. I am Fred Hawkins. I'm a Republican running for House District 42. I approve this paid advertisement and the purchasing the virtual booth.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. So, Fred, tell our viewers a little bit about you, your background, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Sure. Well, my family has been in Florida since 1969. I am married to my beautiful wife, Tiffany. We have a daughter that's going into her senior year of high school, and we're just hoping it's as normal as possible. She does go to public school. I'm in my third term as a Osceola County Commissioner. I was first elected in 2008 and subsequently reelected. I have two private sector jobs I do. I am the president of the Osceola Education Foundation, which is a nonprofit that provides scholarships, mentoring, and a gift for teaching store with school supplies. And we do career and technical pipelines also to help students decide what career choice they want to make or college. And then I do some consulting in the renewable energies and solid waste market. So I enjoy being a elected official, and I've always felt as though if you live in a community, you need to be involved in that community. And that's what before I got elected to office, I served on numerous nonprofits and served on our planning commission, and then got some support behind me and said, you ought to really think about running. And we made that step. And my degree is pre-law and political science. So it kind of fit with things of my interest. And here we are today running for the Florida House.
So you do have experience then as an elected official. Why did you decide to run for this office at this time?
Well, it is an open seat, and even when I ran for county commission, I wouldn't run for something just for the job or the title. I ran because I feel I'm the best person for that position. And I think Representative LaRosa's done an outstanding job. It's going to be big shoes to fill, but I feel it's the next step for us to take our experience, what we know here locally, serving in this community. And I've always felt as though you need to serve before you can lead, and I feel like I've done that. I know what the assets are for this area. My dad was a small businessman in the district in Polk and Osceola, so I learned a lot growing up. I have businesses, that I own. I'm a small businessman also, besides the jobs I told you about. But I feel as though knowing the community, knowing its needs, its wants, its assets, and also the negatives, what we know is beyond our reach. That's important to know, and I want to take that to Tallahassee and make things happen for District 42.
So that goes very smoothly into my next question, which is what would be your top priorities in the 2021 legislative session?
Well, working in education, I can tell you Polk and Osceola have been at the bottom of the per student funding. Osceola's been dead last like the past 4 years. Polk's been 62nd, 63rd. We have to change that. This is a growing area. It's a district that has a lot of service industry jobs. But if we do not have a good education system and the student funding coming in, we're not going to attract the economic development. We have to have that as a baseline to get people to expand businesses here. And even when people move businesses here or start up a new business, when they bring those employees with them, the first thing they're going to look at is where am I going to live and what's the school system like for my kids, or if I'm going to raise a family there. We need to make sure we're top notch. So in doing that, that also slides into, I know the legislature did a good job the past year of getting the teachers some pay raises, but we need a 2, 3, 5-year plan for how we're going to invest in education and get those long-term teachers to the salary they need. Healthcare is important to all of us. There's things out there that I think need to be done and addressed when you have insurance companies dictating to doctors what medicines they prescribe instead of the doctor doing that. It's called first aid to fail. We can't do that now. Florida is very diverse. So along with the healthcare and what affects us all, tort reform is very important. We can't have frivolous lawsuits. I would say that when this election's over and I'm called to Tallahassee into a special session, the first thing I'd like to see us do is pass a Business Protection Act. We need to make sure small businesses and businesses of all sizes have protection against frivolous lawsuits due to COVID. As long as they're following CDC guidelines, we have to open this economy. Florida does not have a state tax. We depend on tourism. We depend on those tourist development dollars, the sales tax and the gas tax to come in and fund the great life and why we live here. We like those low taxes and we like less government, and that's what I stand for. So those are going to be priorities for me, but making sure we invest to let people know, because I think we're going to have a lot of in-state travel, which will bring them to Central Florida. We'll have some national travel coming back to Florida. We have to make sure people know they're safe and Florida's open to come back to with their families and enjoy what all of us enjoy here.
Very good. And so you mentioned education, and absolutely, and I can echo that for Polk County, agree with you wholeheartedly when it comes to education. As someone who would be representing parts of East Polk County, in addition to Osceola County, what do you perceive as our community's top priorities at the state level?
Jobs, higher wage jobs. We need to make sure that we have where businesses can expand. And I'm all about incentivizing. If everybody agreed not to incentivize and you just on your merits, that'd be one thing. But every area, every city, county, state, it's a competition. We have to make sure that there's tax abatement available, that we're making less business regulation on people that want to open business. Make it easy for them to get permits. Let's open that up. If you look at Frostproof, Frostproof has a window company now that's coming there to open a manufacturing company for these windows. When they got there, that city council did such a good job that they didn't take the original property they were going to. They're going to a bigger property because now they can afford that and they've got more sales than they anticipated. That's jobs. And I will say this, when we go back to education and jobs, they go hand in hand. Career and technical jobs are so important. Not every child needs to go to college. Those career and technical positions, I was part of helping open Valencia's Advanced Manufacturing Center here in Osceola. And it's not only for those that don't want to go to college, it's for those adults that now are furloughed, or laid off from their jobs that were service industry jobs. You can go there and get a welding job or learn to be an electrician or work on computer boards. they're hiring. They've been able to place everybody that's graduated from there. And that's what we need to do in Polk County as well. I know there's some programs down there, but let's make them work together. So we're accomplishing goals and making people get those higher wages.
Very good. So you do obviously have an opponent in this race, and so if I was an everyday voter, if you could go out and knock on doors in this COVID environment, and I said, well, convince me to vote for you, what would you say? Why should I vote for you over your opponent?
Experience, knowing, like I said, serving in this community, knowing the background here, knowing what's important, because Polk and Osceola, they're not always the same, but there's a lot of overlapping issues that we need, and it comes down to education, higher wage jobs, but also I think knowing public safety should be every elected official's number one priority. We have to make sure that we're back in the blue, that we have, I've got the support from the PBA and a lot of good endorsements that I'm very proud of that speak to my experience and answering those interviews and questions of knowing that. We're very proud of the endorsements we received in the primary, and they're staying with us now. So I would say taking my experience and knowing what the needs are here at Tallahassee to be able to fight for the people of Polk County, be able to fight for the people of Osceola, saying, these are our needs and I want to bring it back. But for me, it starts with public safety, education, and healthcare, something that's important to all of us and our families, which then has that trickle-down effect of businesses being able to come here, and it just expands and grows. So I'm very proud of my record as a county commissioner and what I've stood for. I've crossed party lines when I thought it's best to do for this. And really in the county commission, you don't have so much partisan politics. You do what's best for people. You have a little more of that in Tallahassee, but I think with the governor in place, who I fully support, especially his water initiatives and so many lakes and bodies of water in Polk and Osceola, that's important because that's a big industry for us also. Let's look at some of those industries we have here. Let's make it easier on them to expand. We can always try to go after the big companies that come in here, but sometimes it's better to hit singles and doubles than to try to always hit the home run.
Absolutely. Well, Fred, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this interview and to share your perspective on what's happening and why you would want to run for office at this time. And good luck on your race.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me. God bless everybody. Stay safe.